Hey, yo, Neil.
Hey, what's up?
I got you.
Got you.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother.
Shot.
It's free to his
Yeah.
backwards.
Look. All right, welcome to another edition of One Mic here on RSG. Please go to RSG platform to check us out here at realsportsguys.com and Real Sports Guys on all social media platforms. We'll get kicked off, but we got to bring our brother back who came back. He's taking over the sports world here in Detroit, Michigan, covering all that boxing and everything else. My man Isaiah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I'm living the dream. I'm blessed to be where I am. To cover
Yes.
boxing as a part of my job, and I'm glad to be back to be talking with you guys. So thanks for having me.
You know, one thing I always tell my students, I'm like, find that thing, find that way, that thing you want to do, that passion, how do you want to live your life? And you are able to do that. When you box, you love boxing, you're able to, study, kind of media, broadcast media. Now you kind of have both those worlds coming together. What are some exciting things that you've been able to do in that boxing space in Detroit, given its history?
Yeah, like you said, not to the history of boxing history of Detroit. It has a rich boxing history, and with that, I feel like there's a lot of stories to tell. Um, One of the things I've been doing is just kind of covering all the local boxing events that's been happening in Metro Detroit. Last week, I was at the National Golden Gloves. It was held in Detroit for the
Yes.
first time in 24 years. And then
Wow.
this tomorrow is going to be Wayne State University's third professional boxing event. Jermaine Franklin is going to be going up against Devin Vargas. And then there's also going to be the undercard is stacked with a load of top prospects from throughout Metro Detroit. So it's very exciting, and I'm very happy to be a part of it for real.
Yeah, I was so surprised that the event was going to be at Wayne State. I mean, I'm like, that's a great thing for an institution, and that's another way to create some buzz around in the city. And when I saw that, I was like, Wayne State, I had to do a double take. But you said that's the third event they've had there.
Yeah, and it's a
Wow.
really nice facility, Wayne State Fieldhouse. It's a very the Motor City Cruise G League team uses that facility, so it's really nice in there.
Wow, wow, wow. So I know you're gonna enjoy it. You might pull Darnell down there, and y'all could do your thing in there. Like I always say, just remember us when you're on top. When you're under zone, when you're in Saudi Arabia, when you're doing all that stuff, when you traveling, when you're in Vegas, when you all that. Remember the little guys. We get you on site or something like that. But we're happy for you, man. The blessings, and I know you're gonna take advantage of it. So that's good. It's good to have you here. We enjoy. We're gonna talk boxing. We're gonna talk basketball tonight. But we can't go past boxing without talking about what happened in Saudi Arabia. Basically Ukrainians are taking over boxing. They don't got 3 championships in less than a week. But it all starts with that Usyk over Tyson Fury. Darnell. We going in this fight. It was pretty even. With a lot of people. Obviously leaning towards Tyson Fury, but uh, you know the cruiser heavyweight did his thing. He had him stumbling and bumbling and everything else. And you get ready for rematch, man. So what were some of those keys that allowed Usyk to do his thing?
Yeah, when we talk about pound for pound, Usyk has always been part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the same breath as Evander Holyfield, who was undisputed at cruiserweight and then moved up to heavyweight and
Mm.
became undisputed again. And that's what Usyk was able to accomplish on last Saturday. This was a fight like you mentioned that your scorecard was 114, 113. It was a tightly contested match, but for a good stretch of it, it was a fight that was dominated by Tyson Fury because he was able to stay on the outside, stick and move, and use his height and reach advantage to his favor. But as Tyson Fury always does, he started to play with his food. He started
Mm.
showboat, and do those kind of antics that he does. And Usyk made him pay for it. He made some adjustments. He started moving to his right. He started throwing that right hook to using that to set up the left hand, and that's what ended up hurting Tyson Fury. And in that round where he hurt Tyson Fury, it seemed like he could have stopped him a good 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But Tyson Fury, he's a very resilient guy. He has great recuperative powers, and he was able to end the fight on his feet, and that's something that is commendable in and of itself. So you got to take your hat off to both fighters, but Usyk showed once again why he's in that pound for pound conversation with Terrence Bud Crawford and Noya. Sorry, I keep butchering his first name, but the Monster Inui.
Hey,
It's,
I mean,
it's a
Isaiah,
big
as you
three.
look at it, they're gonna have a rematch. What do you think? What adjustments do you see for Tyson Fury? What does he need to do in this rematch? I think it's scheduled for October or something like that.
Yeah, I think in the rematch he's got to you know go back to what was working in the fight. I think he kind of just abandoned what was working. He was fighting well from the outside. He had a little body shot that was where Usyk, he's known to be vulnerable to. But I think he just went away from it, and then he kind of, like you said, started playing with his food. I think that is something that is part of his style, where he, will drop his hands, and when he's in punching range. And I think Usyk showed that he has a lot more power than people were thinking. He put on a lot more weight for that fight. And he can bang like a normal heavyweight. So I think Tyson Fury has to be mindful of that throughout the entire fight. And he's definitely capable of winning for sure.
Yeah, Sugar Hill, your man from the Chronic Gym was down there cussing him out. We was on him, trying to get him motivated. But some guys like that are gonna do what they're gonna do, and but Sugar Hill was trying to get on him. You go about to hit him with it.
No, I was gonna say you said he could punch like a normal heavyweight. He
Yeah.
is a normal heavyweight. We're looking back at history.
Yeah.
6'3", 230 is not small.
Yeah.
6'3", 235 is not really a small heavyweight when we talk about the history of boxing. When we look back at like Joe Louis, and we look back at Evander Holyfield, Rocky Marciano, and the power that they were able to have as power punchers,
Yeah.
like that's not a small dude. If you get hit right by a guy that's 230, 235, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah. And you're talking about somebody who got great technique. So
Yeah.
he's hitting you, he's not looping, he's not wasting anything. I mean, Tyson got size, he's got pretty good technique, but he's not, Usyk is, his technique is like flawless. So he's hitting you like he's a light heavyweight in terms of his technique, but he got that power of a heavyweight. And he's got that heart. He's got that Holyfield heart. So it's going to be good. I think this one might be a trilogy. I think I think your boy who was hoping to get one, he's going to have to wait a couple fights before he can get a good look. He keeps sitting on that sidelines, with the excellency, trying to wait till his fight going to come, because these two might have one. They might have two more in them that people are going to be looking for to do it. I was going to ask y'all a little bit about. Obviously now, Saudi Arabia's created a different kind of mechanism in boxing with the money they bringing in. They get people to the table in ways that you normally would be able to get people to the table. Isaiah, how do you see that disrupting the boxing game? They're very interested in creating really good fights, and they're willing to pay for them.
I think it's great for boxing. They've been ones that have been putting on the great fights. I think what it is that they are true fight fans for one, and that is what is fueling them just desiring the best fight and the best. And I think it's great for boxing, and it could lead to, in order for other entities to be more competitive, that they will have to also try to do more of the same. So I think it could be a good thing for boxing.
Yeah, I believe it's in Turkey. He's sitting there. He know boxing. He's sitting there talking to people.
Yep.
He is a fight fan. Like, he know boxing, and he knows how to set them things up. And it's like, you need a disruptor, right? And there's other reasons people will say, we got the long time political back. He's in D.C. He probably doesn't. There's a lot of reasons why Saudi Arabia is involved in the sports arena for a number of good reasons. But at the end of it,
it's for their image. They want
to
make the image. That's why they got involved with Live.
Yep.
And they made a really breakthrough as far as getting that merger with PGA and Live. That's huge for the Saudi brand. But that's the reason why. It's all about trying to build a solid brand and again, kind of balance what is happening as far as their ruling, which is unfair, but making sure they're a public image because they can invest in America and make money, invest in globally and make money. So
yeah. One thing I do want to. Oh, I'm sorry. One thing I do want to add is it's not what Turkey Al-Sheikh is not just going to be in Saudi. He's mobilizing the brand Riyadh season, and the next card that he's putting on, with the one with Terrence Crawford, is actually going to be in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So they're kind of moving it around to where now you can make it more palatable for American fighters to join because they're going to be here in America, and he's going to do another show in the UK. So he's kind of moving his brand around so where he can put on shows all over the world. So I think that's another key piece to the puzzle.
And I think, we've all been saying, like, there needs to be a mechanism. At first, we're like, is it going to be congressional intervention? We had some folks in the Senate who would think about pushing around that. But, this is another way to do it. You leverage it. You leverage the money and the resources. You create such a level of investment that people got to listen. The streets don't matter when the money's that high, right? And I thought at some point, well, maybe some of these entities like ESPN and some of these folks could create that. But Turkey's created it. He created it, and it's been good for boxing. So it's one of those things where, a fight like that happened wouldn't have happened without that kind of investment. You got those kind of people. At a certain point, the numbers are high enough. I'm going to come see you. And they're creating that kind of effect that I think is going to be interesting. That's going to be a good thing to work. And then I forget what's my third guy from Ukraine that won. He just beat my.
Talking about Dennis Brunchik?
Yeah, Brunchik. That was an ugly fight though. He that was an ugly fight. Now, you and I talked about that, Darnell. And who he beat you? Who did he beat?
He beat my guy Navarrete.
Who just is not disciplined. Who will swing for the fences? I mean, who was coming up in weight, right? So I don't know what that one meant at all, but it's meant one more belt for Ukraine in a week. So is this guy got potential? Is he holding it, or he just hold it for one night? What's going on?
I didn't get to watch the fight, so I can't really
see. What interesting enough for you to watch? Isaiah, did you get a chance to watch
it? I didn't watch it either.
See, look at that.
I didn't know that he won the belt.
We had basketball on that night, man, and we already watched Usyk and Tyson Fury that afternoon. So by that time it was 10 o'clock. It's prime time.
That's where the two televisions are supposed to come in. See, I got that one over there. I can see it, and then I got the game on the main one. See, I got to work on y'all. I can get y'all to set up so we can work through that. Well, enough with that. Let's get to some basketball. First of all, I want to bring it in. We've been going back and forth around the NBA. A lot of things happening. The playoffs been great. But in the background, we got these contracts going. It looks like, maybe, TNT might not be, NBC might be the high bidder on this, which could in fact impact inside the NBA, which I think is part of is a culture setter show. I think it's connection and part of the viewing experience of the NBA. I think has been a player over the years. Y'all sent that thing in the text. NBC is trying to go get with your boy John Test to do a remix. I'm like, we can't go back to the 80s, y'all. And so I want to talk a little about I know it's about money, but I think part of what the NBA has been able to do is about experience. The experience of the viewing and all that is I think is a part of it. You got cultural icons like Chuck. Would you be thinking about a way to try to do something like that on the NBA platform, television platform? Carl, I know it's about the money, man, but there's something about that relationship between TNT and Inside NBA that's part of the growth of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they can do a rendition of it, Devon. I mean, they can do. I mean, the bottom line is that I think that sadly, if Inside the NBA goes down, I think that you have some creative minds on the production side, NBC, that might have some things as far as they're going to a different thing or a new thing that will captivate us like inside the NBA, or they cut a deal with Turner to possibly buy the rights to it. There's ways. I mean, if they see where their money is going to be compromised by not having that product, they'll find a way. Or again, like I said, or I think they'll do what I think they'll do. They'll bring the people and just rebrand the show and have a different inside the NBA, just in different names, so they're not infringing on the proprietary, property that basically TNT has as far as the branding. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to happen. I don't think NBC's going to John Tesh as prepared. I think it's a wrap. Bill Simmons says a wrap. I know you looking indignant right now, but bruh, it's just. I remember when people were upset when NBC lost the contract. NBC lost the contract. NBC was.
I can't see.
You know me being a Bulls fan, seeing NBC was my brand because that's where I saw the Bulls do their thing for years. So again, we'll see. I think that there's a lot of things that you're right with the basketball culture and how again TNT is able to. Again, partner with NBA TV as far as it goes. They have that cross branding and sort of the cross culture related to those networks together and being, again, symbiotic as far as their programming and being complementary. But the bottom line is that inside NBA could be done. It's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. And it seems like TNT doesn't want to bid for it. So, I mean, they seem to be giving up without a fight, basically. So I
think I look at Isaiah Darnell. I mean, that's probably basically been y'all life experience. Is when y'all watching basketball growing up, TNT has probably been always part of y'all experience. Is that correct?
For the most part, I remember when Shaq first started doing them. Because Shaq wasn't always on it. When I was growing up, Shaq was still playing.
Yeah.
But, it's been a part of it. But like now that I'm older, like I don't watch basketball for these, for the commentators and stuff like that. Like it's nice hearing Jamal Crawford commentate the game, but I really don't be watching inside the NBA after the game. I watch podcasts on YouTube. I mean,
you're a different cat. We can't count you. You don't watch any of this stuff. I almost shouldn't have asked you because you different.
I was going to say it's a different audience.
You got an old.
Like I said, I watch inside the NBA. I find it to be fascinating, especially during the playoffs, because bluntly, I don't watch that much inside the NBA during the season. You see some of the things and hear about it, but really, again, inside NBA, really for me, the playoffs, I think becomes captivating and gets me back into the game after sort of taking a break from the game as I've done, because I listen to. I think I'm basically a Bulls fan with the NBA. I listen to every Bulls game, the score, and I'm a Bulls fanatic, as you know, and been a suffering fan for years.
You're gonna continue to suffer. Isaiah, you grew up. It probably was most of your experience, right? I mean, watching basketball is that?
Definitely. Inside the NBA has been a huge part of my experience watching basketball, and I think that they have always added something to the basketball, experience watching basketball. So it'll definitely be different if their NBC is really trying to do the the John testing, going back in time or whatever. I guess it has to be about what type of show they want to be and what their target audience is. Like, are they trying to have more of a younger viewership? And I think that inside the NBA supports that with their cast of people on the show. But if they wanted to try to do a more a traditional approach, then they might go back in time and do it that way. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think you're hitting a really interesting point, because I think, one of the things is, and this is what, Carl and I were tracking, we're looking at in TNT, and I think Darnell was, TNT, CEO or head person was saying, hey, we don't necessarily, I think it's part of a bargaining chip. We don't necessarily need the NBA. And I'm thinking, like, what else you got going on? Like, And the reason why I was, and I'm listening to Bomani Jones and talk about it, because in some way, TNT, the Inside NBA, actually became their late night television. Late night television is huge, but they actually flipped a sports show that became really their late night TV, right? Where every topic could be talked about in that space, including basketball. That became their engine. It's a different engine when you're talking about going to NBC, more traditional. They got a whole bunch of other things that are part of their suite of their offerings. It's going to be interesting because the NFL holds its own. I think there's this symbiotic relationship. I think that's happened between what's happening with TNT and kind of the rise of basketball as part of that. So I just wanted to bring that here. We ain't gonna laugh on it. We're gonna get to the playoffs. Before we start in the playoffs, I want to start with the teams that didn't make it in these final couple teams. And obviously Jokic and them fell short. And there were a number of remarks afterwards. My man Michael had a lot to say at the end of it, and had some stuff to say to reporters as well. And I had to get my partner to understand the reason why I don't. That's one reason why I don't like Denver, is the way the coach is feeling himself. Having said all that, Isaiah, I'll start with you. Where does Denver go with where they're at right now? Given like they were looking to repeat, they fall short to that Ant-Man. When you think about Denver, where do you think Denver should be going here? If you think about what their next phase is in terms of Denver basketball, Nuggets basketball.
For one, the Michael Malone comments after the game, as a man in media,
There you go.
I didn't necessarily appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it. I felt like he was up there pouting. Just answer the question. Answer the question for why your team gave up. Blew the lead. Be accountable.
Yes.
That's the point of those media interviews, is for you to be accountable. That's what a coach does, and I didn't appreciate those comments. So. Yeah, he was just up there pouting. But one good thing that they have going for them is that I do think that they're still a championship level team. I don't think that they really have to change much. I think it was a tough series. Things like that happen in playoff basketball. Jamal Murray was a little bit banged up, going into it. So I think that played a little bit of a role. So. No, but I think Denver is fine where they are. They are a well-oiled machine at this point. I think they should just try to preserve that as most they can.
How do you feel about that, Darnell? Is that your perspective on Denver? What do you think they could tweak?
I don't think they're fine where they are. I think they're fine with their front five, but they need to add some more pieces to the bench for them to be able to sustain a playoff run. I think they really missed Bruce Brown, Uncle Jeff Green. He wasn't there as well. So we saw it, especially the last game where the Joker Jokic had to play pretty much the whole entire game. And by the end of the game, he was spent. He was settling for a lot of jumpers, settling for a lot of threes, and a lot of those threes are coming up short because he just didn't have any more legs. So I think they need to bring in a veteran, and they have to be smart about who they draft to find like a player that's ready to contribute right now. I think just 2 or 3 more pieces. They don't have to be big pieces, but pieces that can contribute, and then they'll be right back where they were last year.
Yep, and I think it's the growth of also people like Brown growing in his offensive game side, right? Adding another element to his game. Like he's growing in the right direction. Take that one more step. That piece, along with some of the things you're saying, how can a young player like that take one more step? He's showing he can compete defensively in these key moments. Let's continue to add to his offensive game and some growth as well. I think that's another piece that gives him more minutes on the floor as well. So, how can some of those players add one more piece to the game along with, I think, what you said. They got to be smart. You're right. They got to draft like the Heat. You got to draft some cats who you think can help you right now.
Well, they tried to.
They tried to. Yep.
But they just didn't. It didn't pan out.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're going to have to continue to develop those players. I think they still got a trajectory, but I think you're right. Adding couple more pieces. Carl, your thoughts? Both on
No,
Michael
I mean,
Malone and on
well, Michael Malone's a disgrace. Just the way, just
man.
infantile behavior, and as Brother Isaiah said, not accountable, and really just emotionally distraught, just emotionally uneven, and just embarrassing, really. Embarrassing for the fan. He should be fined.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. He's not representing the Denver Nuggets as a leader.
Yeah.
He's a poor example for the youth. He's a poor example for everybody in the league, especially coming off a chip. Again, show some pride. Show some common sense.
Yeah.
It's just awful. So I know maybe he might be in the moment or whatever, but you're a professional basketball coach. Act like it. Act like it. As far as Denver goes, people say they're the best starting five in basketball. They do, and they have the worst bench in basketball. And so I blame Brother Booth. Just malpractice as far as they let Green go, they let Brother Brown go, and they thought Peyton Watson could step it up, and he's never really delivered since he was drafted. Christian Braun's been nice, but they just, and Reggie Jackson's been nice, but they got no size off the bench, and that's why they took an L, and they really, you saw it during games, they would just disintegrate because their starting five was too tired. And so Brother Booth needs to, you need to get those ready-made rookies who are veterans. Maybe, they played 4 or 5 years in college, or you get some veterans willing to take the minimum to get a chip, get a ring. But you can't go into the season next year like you did this season and actually think the fool's gold that because you have the best starting five, you can win. That's not the case. This is the NBA we're talking about. We ain't talking about college. We ain't talking about high school. We're talking about NBA. And so wake up. You know that you are ill-equipped to win when you have a bench that poor as Denver has, where they went 3 quarters without a bucket from the bench. That's unacceptable. 3 quarters. So it's just unacceptable, man. And so Brother Booth needs to get it together as far as the personnel. Brother Malone needs to get it together as far as his, again, emotional state. They act like a leader and not like a follower. And that's all I got to say. I mean, I can't blame the players for it. They played hard, but they're human beings. They can't go down 48 minutes and be, no.
Yeah, I got a message. So, but Darnell and I've had a chance to cover the Mile Invitational together, and we've watched a couple of different situations, right, Darnell? With how some of these coaches act in these press conferences, and I'm seeing this, and I'm gonna blame Popovich a little bit, and I love Pop, but the fact of the matter is, y'all get paid a lot of money to spend like 15 minutes to answer some questions. Y'all, college and pro, y'all get paid a lot of money to just sit there for a second and answer a few questions. And the questions aren't even difficult. And these are situations you created. I'm just trying to confirm and understand. And so, some of these folks, you got to understand that's part of the job. You get paid a lot of money. Some of these folks need to, on the NBA side, the league need to come down on this. On the college side, some of these institutions need to come down on this. I'm tired of walking in and folks having attitudes and they're getting paid $10 million. You got $10 million. I had a situation in Maui. Everybody else was nervous, not me. It's funny. I'm sitting there like, okay. I'm gonna ask the question. He's now coaching UFC. I'm gonna ask the question. I don't care what you say. We're gonna ask you a question. And it's like you come in like you own the place, and you're the one making the mistakes, not us. We're just trying to confirm. So I feel bad about that. With Denver, I think it's about tweaking. One of my new things right now is you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. A lot of times it's about refining. A lot of times it's about how you organize your team to play. How creative are you in creating a second unit, leveraging? One of the things I talk a lot about the Bulls. I crack up, but one of the great moves they did is the way Pippen led the second unit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You take a starter
Mm-hmm.
and you amplify this group in the second unit. The Pistons used to do a little bit of that with Dumars. Like that's a especially with the new the way it's in terms of the way the cap is working. where you basically gonna have like 2 stars, you got to be thinking about how you distribute the time. So that leads me to the next team we got to talk about is New York Knicks. Man, I know that's your boy Tibbs, man. But man,
I'm tired of people that blasting Tibbs. I mean, talking about you running people to the ground. These cats they're not durable.
they're not durable.
It's not durable. OG came.
Nobody-
OG been hurt.
How can you
He came
average
over. Don't
more
give me that.
minutes
Man. OG
in
been
there
hurt. He came over, man. And
How
ain't
can you
about
average
Tibbs
that?
running the ground. That's a bunch of mess.
You got a player that's
Nobody
averaging
ran
more minutes
Julius Randle on the
in
ground
regulation.
or Mitchell Robinson. They're soft.
But hold it, you got Allen Burke. You got Burke, and he down there scoring 30. He been on your bench. You ain't even played him. That's malpractice.
Nah, you know what happened.
No,
Knowing Tibbs,
and he played for you before.
Cat didn't play D. You
He
don't
played
play
for you
for Tibbs unless you play
before.
D. Let's keep it real. You don't play for Tibbs unless you play D.
You wouldn't have been in the game.
Alex decided to play some D.
You brought him back
gets
because
in.
you liked him.
You ain't playing one side of the court.
Tibbs had to okay it.
He did.
You
And
should have
then
been
he
playing.
Him coming back because dude showed some D.
Oh
So
my
I love
goodness.
Tibbs. Tibbs ain't the issue. The issue is that
Tibbs
these
is an
cats are
issue.
soft.
Nobody
They're
plays.
soft.
It's never
They're
smart. Look, not even in elementary school. Even when you got to play, you got to play 40. You should play 40. Like there's a way to manage players.
But for
Man,
Tibbs,
I watched
this
Imani
is-
play the entire game for the
Man.
for a whole playoff run. No,
Bruh,
Don't mean
he's
it's
talking about
smart.
elementary school.
You gotta come with
Nah,
it, man. I'm tired of these modern day players,
It ain't
modern
modern.
day pitchers. We don't talk
They
about
didn't play
baseball, but
Jordan
I'm seeing
40
pitchers
minutes.
pitching 5 innings and
They
man,
didn't play
playing some
Jordan 40
ball.
minutes. We shouldn't have forget.
Be durable.
Phil would have never played Jordan like that, even if he could,
yeah.
because it's not smart. There is a point where you're not getting any more. You're not getting any more at 40 than you'll get at 35. You're just not. You're not.
Man, back in the day, Mike used to
All
play
right, Darnell.
40
We already-
both sides
I
of
can't
both
stop
sides of the
you,
ball.
Carl.
Like these cats
You
now,
can
both
apologize.
sides.
Isaiah
Not one
Darnell,
side.
I'm gonna turn you off for right now. Knicks, what they got to do? We got to do. I know they got to get healthy, but
The Knicks is in a great position.
Yep.
They're in a great position. They got tons of flexibility. I think the first move is going to be to get off of Julius Randle.
Yeah,
But
he's stealing money.
I don't know.
You laughing and stuff, man. I put this way. I ain't going
that far with it.
I'm proud of the brother getting this paper, but you didn't earn it this year, bro.
I just don't know how.
You didn't earn it this year, bro.
I just don't know how.
You getting
how
paid
much
for
he
past
fits.
performance.
Hold on a second. Let me see what's point.
Because you ain't getting paid for past performance. You get cut if you don't perform in the NFL.
I know you hot on your boy, but so what are you gonna do with Julius? What you gonna do with Julius?
No, I'm saying.
Let him go. Let's do that.
Yeah, make sure trade him and then get some more pieces out of it. Like I don't know, man, because there's so many different ways they could pivot. I know they're really looking at trying to get Mikal Bridges from Brooklyn. They have some picks.
That'd be a mistake, bro.
You know, like
he had Tibbs player,
like
man. He ain't playing no defense, bro.
What? Mikal Bridges? Mikal Bridges?
Hey,
Bro.
man,
What?
if I had a mic,
I've seen the Nets play, and I know again. I've seen him play college. That cat. I've not seen since he's been. I've not seen the elite defense. I've seen. He was great.
He's a Nova, man. They play defense. He's Nova. They play defense.
He ain't playing defense like he did.
He's from Nova. He played defense.
He's scoring more.
But it doesn't matter. But he can play defense. That'll work.
He ain't playing and looking. He ain't playing as well as he played in Phoenix. He's not.
It don't matter. But
he's scoring more.
Like that with New York.
Scoring more. I've seen.
I don't think Brooklyn gonna make the trade. All right. So you say they gotta get rid of. They gotta move him out. Isaiah, we got you here on the backside. New York, what you doing? What you doing in New York, man?
Yeah, I think obviously you just need a guy, a better star to complement Brunson. Obviously you have one of the best players in the league in Jalen Brunson. And I think all you needed was just a little bit more help from from the others. I liked, DiVincenzo and Hart and all the other role players that had, key roles in their run, but I think you just need one more. So if you trade Randall, get some good pieces back for him. Maybe somebody that's already, ready to go, a good veteran that can complement him well. I like the Mikal Bridges thing. I think that could work out. They could complement each other well. But yeah, and, you got to try out somebody else other than Julius Randle.
Yeah, and I just don't think Brooklyn. I think there's something just on Brooklyn and Brooklyn. What they said last time Brooklyn and the Knicks had a trade. What was it, like 20 years ago or something like that? Like
Yeah,
I
it's
just
been a
don't.
long
I
time.
I, I
Yeah.
think I think they
I don't
not
see because you gonna get
yeah,
if he's successful, you get burned in the same market.
in
People
the
are like, eat
same
your
market. I
line,
don't
man.
see that. That's the only
Yeah,
reason I
eat
don't
your
see it.
line, man.
Yep.
I don't
I
see
do
that.
think you could take somebody like Randall and look at teams like Portland and some of these other teams who need a
Yeah.
veteran presence and got some pieces
But
that
then
they
who are
might.
you getting back?
What about Brandon Ingram?
Oh, I hate that fit.
You hate that fit?
I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it.
Yeah,
you
you keep it
you
real,
might as well
Cardinal.
keep Julius Randle.
He's
They both ISO scorers that's gonna catch and hold from the same spot of the court. They
Yeah.
operate from the same spot of the court. At least Julius Randle rebound.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I just think, like I said, he's not. I mean, Randall's just been hurt so much, and just more availability, I would say. And the fact I know New Orleans isn't paying him, but they're not paying him because they don't think. Well, I guess he's not fitting well with that personnel either. I guess Trey Murphy fits better than he does, correct? Or
Yeah,
with Zion, Zion.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. I mean, with New York, man, it's just they need durability, bro. I
but
think it's
the other
not
thing to
adding
find
more
with New
player.
York with the way they play now, where I think Randall might be they moving the ball and there's a lot more movement in a sense,
yeah.
and the ball when they're not moving it, it's in Brunson's hands,
Brothers
and I
hands,
think
yeah.
that's where they are moving to a style that looks like they could be successful in that
hmm
Randall would disrupt. So
He
I do
doesn't
think that's
fit
one of the
in.
reasons
That's
you got
what.
it moving,
Yeah,
huh?
that's my whole point. I think
Yeah,
they would.
yeah,
Like I know they just played the Pacers, but I think they could pivot into a way where it's like that, where
yeah.
the Pacers all their players complement each other, and I think
Mhm.
they could get some players that could fit Tibbs's his style, defense first, some floor spacing guy that can attack closeouts, get some rebounds, and do that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Memphis could be an interesting. I don't know who they got down there because I think
Mm,
you get him in the screen role with
with Ja,
with Ja, and he can rebound and he can do that stuff. I think that might not be a bad place, and they got a number of different pieces where they might be. They got to think about what that mix might look like. Down there as well. But yeah, I agree they got to move. I do think they're going to have to figure out how they manage players because for their ability to get some free agency, and sometimes Tibbs might be changing and that just might be what's presenting. But they got to be able to deal with that because there is, that's out there probably amongst folks, and that might not be true of Tibbs right now. He just had to do what he needed to do, but that's something they're going to have to manage. I know they love him, and hell, Tibbs is always going to have you in the finals. Now the question is he going to have enough to get you over the top? I think he can get you to the East Conference Finals, but does he set you up to get beyond that? To be able to do that, you got to manage your depth. And I think there's something that's going to have to be figured out with that. All right, we in the finals, y'all, of the conference finals on both sides. We had the scare last night. Boston came out. I was like, oh, Boston going to run them out the gym. And then the Pacers came back. Pacers have it down the stretch, and then they just blow it. They blow it with all kinds of things that happen down there. Darnell, what happened? Where did it all go wrong? What happened down there, down the stretch?
I'm sorry, which series were you talking about? I'm
For the
sorry.
Pacers,
Pacers,
The Pacers.
in Boston last night, game one.
Oh, you got to foul up three. You got to foul up three. That was the textbook example. He caught the ball in the corner. He had the opportunity to foul, and he got up a look. It wasn't the cleanest look in the world, but it went in. And then you extend the game, and Boston is a better team, and class and the level ends up finding itself usually, and Boston was able to pull it out at the end. But I think the Pacers played a really good game, and I think they do match up better than we probably had thought previously. But I think we're in for a good series nonetheless.
Yeah, and I have a different thing on the foul. I do believe you foul, but the ways in which you don't foul when it's a catch and shoot motion, If you're gonna
Right.
foul, you trying to get people. They're on a move, gather. That's when you fouling, or
Yeah.
they take the dribble action, you fouling. But I think what was difficult about that was catch shoot. And part of the problem, when you really look at it, Halliburton was part of the problem because when he was on the inbounds, he was not. You're supposed to be protecting the paint in a little bit. He should have been at a better angle to make that a tougher pass. He was just kind of
Yeah.
standing there. So there was a lot that was lost.
I think he had a window when he pump faked. He pump
Yeah.
faked and then brought the ball to the other side of his
Yeah.
body. That's when he could have reached in and fouled him.
And I think he was when you up on somebody, you see in a gathering, the last thing you want to have happen is
It's just
grandmama
for him to
on
get
your
up.
4-point play,
Yeah.
right? And so you if he's catch you action, I'm like, you got to just contest it. But
Yeah.
you're right. They should have never been in that. You should have been taking it to half court on the timeout on the 10 seconds left. You know, that's where the coach messed it up. Hammer, when you think about, the kind of adjustments, you think about Boston in terms of like Boston was being Boston that game. Like in that game, you had everything that's about Boston. They look good, they look dominant, then they look confused. They took a lot of shots that, as we would call it, no-purpose shots. Tatum was lost in the fourth quarter. Halliburton, like so. When you're gathering from that first game experience in terms of how you think about, who Boston is and what Indiana has.
Well, it was disappointing on both sides. I think that really, like you said, Boston came out and then it just seems like, with the fourth quarter, Tatum just becomes timid and really Indiana again just seems to be timid. They just didn't want it last night. I think the problem, both teams, and eventually, Jaylen Brown had that three to put in overtime, it's a disappointing game because I really hate the Knicks couldn't make it, and it's sad too. I think Boston misses Porzingis, and I guess he's going to come back in Game 4, my understanding. But it just always seems like something's missing with Boston. They're too talented to be playing like this, too talented to be down like this. Bottom line with Pacers, they're playing with house money, and they should have closed the deal. I mean, they should have closed, and they didn't close the deal. Because it seemed to be, again, afraid of the moment. And this is not going to be a great series. Everyone's going to be looking at this Dallas Minnesota series, but this Indiana series, people don't want to really watch it, first of all, and also teams that just don't have the killer instinct, and players that don't have killer instinct, and Halliburton on one side and Tatum on the other side, who should be the best players on the team. I mean, that's simple, So.
I disagree. I think Halliburton does have a killer instinct. He doesn't have the talent that Tatum has. And I think that's where the biggest problem. I think that's probably the biggest problem with Boston is Tatum just doesn't have that dog. Like he doesn't have that what we're watching with Anthony Edwards. Tatum doesn't have that. He doesn't have that mentality of, okay, your star player gets going, I got him. If he doesn't have that. I don't see that same fire from him. Or, okay, we're down, let me take over. He doesn't really have it. He likes to, kind of fit in and, try to make the right play as much as possible. When at times they need him to be that type 1 alpha personality, and he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, and
he doesn't. Yeah.
The thing I watched and it finally clicked. Tatum's problem, and he says he follows Kobe. He's a Kobe fan. I think one of his problems that he did pick up from Kobe is Kobe in times like this plays from the inside out. Tatum plays from the outside in, and that's why his play is so inconsistent. He's the most physically imposing figure. He's got guys. There's times last night where he just bully balled them, putting up the layup, and it hasn't clicked for him. They can't do nothing with me. I'm either gonna get a free throw. Like that's how you have consistent moments, and because he wants to make the spectacular, like even in the overtime, the pump, side dribble, escape dribble, fake hit, like he's feeling off that, but that's a shot you made it, but you don't have to live on it. He doesn't have to live on it. Like someone like Halliburton, because he hasn't gotten stronger, he might have to live on stuff like that, right? He's not going to physically overpower somebody. But Tatum has so many more easier shots he can make, and he refuses to do them in the moments. Like, he should be watching Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday's like, oh, you too little to mess with me. You just take people, put it right in the basket.
Drew ball last night.
You know what I'm saying? Drew was
He
like,
ball. He
Drew was
ball.
like,
He
you
ball.
gonna think you gonna cover me? I'm big
He
boying you.
ball.
I'm putting you
He
right in
ball.
the hoop. It's like, watch what Drew was doing. You can do that all night long. So that's a part about Tatum that he hasn't clicked. And sometimes Brown, I think Brown has adjusted to that much more so than Tatum. Like he'll get to the rim. Like there's nobody on Indiana who can deal with Tatum. He can get wherever he want to get on the floor. He don't act like that. And I think that's your point as it relates to Ant. Ant knows if I got to go bully ball you, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get that easy bucket. Tatum hasn't quite let that. He rather make the spectacular play rather than the play that's. And as somebody who follows Kobe, Kobe makes some of those difficult shots, but Kobe will take you right to that post and go to work on you if you too little, and he'll just go to free throw line all night long. He'll get 17 free throws and not care about it if it gets to win it. Isaiah, I know we love. I know you probably got a perspective on it. What are you seeing, and what would you say for Game 2 needs to happen for either of these teams?
Yeah. I think Indiana really was in a great position to win that game. They gave the game away with the inbound on the sideline there. I'm wondering what the play call was. Was there a play call, or was there the players just didn't listen? That was strange. No one actually came to the ball on that inbound. So that was just a turnover that was bound to happen if no one actually came towards the ball. So. That's one thing, a coaching thing that was kind of interesting in that game. Game 2, I think Indiana has to limit the turnovers. That was what allowed Boston to even stay in the game. And when you're the team that necessarily doesn't have the talent, you have to kind of be you have to limit the margin of error. Like you can't really give the game away, and that's what happened there. I think Boston just. They need a little bit more dog out of Tatum and their stars in those big moments. I think that's they have the talent, they have the team that could do it, but I think a little bit of timidness from Tatum, because it was Brown actually. He took the shot, and they went in overtime and won. But I think when you go to your alpha dog, when you need a big bucket from Tatum, I think. They need to be able to rely on him a little bit more.
Yeah, and Brown, what he did in the defensive stuff he did, like he locked in ways that were really important. The other thing that Indiana did was they started hunting Horford because he was cooking in that run. He was hitting shots. He was feeling he had he found a fountain of youth in that first 10 minutes. Then they started hunting him. You notice on the pick and rolls they were getting him in that drop coverage, and so I think they found something offensively they want to do. And then Miles Turner, man, he's still playing. Like if there's anybody who is giving them something, man, that young man is balling. He balling. He balling. He putting the game together. So I don't necessarily put them out just because, man, we talk about can't trust it in terms of NCAA. Man, Boston is the ultimate can't trust it. And I don't know if it's because they got a young coach who's still trying to find his way, haven't got it, but there's something there that they ain't locking in. They can't trust it. And I think if they keep playing with their food with Indiana, that boy Halliburton from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, boy, he might start dancing on you. And if he start getting into that he start doing his Reggie Miller like he was doing in the Garden, there's going to be some problems with that, getting into his mix. So they can't be playing with their food with this team because this team will come get them. And so, Joe Mazzulla might be looking for another job. Boston, they'll fire you in a minute. They don't care what you've done. What have you done for me lately, kind of thing. They'll get rid of you in a minute if they don't get a victory with it. So, the game tonight we haven't been tracking. Y'all might have eyes on that because I haven't been watching.
This is not
killing them still. Kyrie's still killing them.
Yeah, he got him and Luka both have 28.
They have 28, but he was on pace for much more than that. So
yeah, he had 24 at half.
But no, Ant's not playing as well. McDaniels is balling. He's balling.
Yep.
They got some nice bench from Kyle Anderson and Nas playing ball. But it's interesting. Cat hasn't been playing well. He's Kitty again, as I said. Not Cat, Kitty.
He Kitty.
So he Kitty. Yeah. So
now, I love Ant. But when he spoke Kyrie's name, I was like, there's some people you just don't talk about. You can say whatever you want to say about Kyrie outside the court. Don't say nothing about him inside that court. Ain't nothing about his game telling he got. You don't want none of that. You don't want no full Kyrie. I mean,
Woo.
I don't
Hey,
know.
speaking of Cat, he just hit a three to put him ahead
Okay, well,
from like 30 feet.
well,
Because
yeah, I
he heard
see, I
Carl
see,
talking
All
I
about
right
it.
see.
now.
He told
Yeah,
he told
he
All
Carl
heard
right
talk
me. He
about
now.
it.
heard me. He heard me.
He heard Carl talk about it. He like, I know you love Butler, but Butler can take all these too. That's what he's trying to tell you. He said, I know you love Butler. Butler can take all these. We got that. Well, y'all, this is always good. It's good to have everybody here. I know we are having a good time here, but we're gonna close out a little bit. We know how we dropped the mic. We've been trying to be the show. We're trying to put love back in the world. We're trying to give people their flowers. We're trying to put the good back in with all this craziness going on around the space. So I'm gonna start with my man in DC in the World Capitol, where they need plenty of love up in that building because there's a lot of stuff happening up in there. I was just over in DC, so we need plenty of love, energy over there. What's up, man? Drop the mic for us, Hammer. Who you got?
I got the Nuggets. Like I said, just owed to their run last year, and like I said, I think that the bottom line with them is they can come back with just the right moves. It's really disappointed as far as how they did not make moves this year. They didn't make any trade deadlines. I mean, you think they're like the Bulls as far as not making trade deadlines, and so I give them credit as far as the excellent season last year and championship, but just unfulfilled potential. And so really, I think they have the foundation to get back and be a championship team and not going to regress badly. But, again, it's just a wasted opportunity. And we shout again the T-Wolves, who young buck, Ant Edwards, who, really I think is one of the best players in basketball. But, as far as I'd say two things really, Denver as well as kind of end of their run, and then I think the T-Wolves as far as the beginning of a possible run of young talented players who really have captivated the nation as far as how they play ball. So that's mine.
All right, Darnell.
I gotta go with the Ant-Man. A lot of players, when their shot isn't falling, they kind of fade away. Especially, and it could have been it, and Ant could have easily done that. They were in Game 7. They're doubling him every time, pretty much every time he got it, and trying to get the ball in his hands. But he found a way to impact the game, and that's something that young players all over the world can take from that. That even when the shot's not falling, even when you're not necessarily getting a whole lot of points, you can still contribute. And Ant took it upon himself in the second half to really pick up Jamal Murray 94 feet and harass him and really make the game difficult for him. And I think that was a big turning point in the game and ultimately the series. And he got a lot of help from his teammates. Jaden McDaniels played very well. Karl-Anthony Towns played a great game before he got into foul trouble. You got some lucky some Game 7 magic from Rudy Gobert with that turnaround fade away. But yeah, I'm dropping the mic by giving my flowers to Anthony Edwards for his impact on both ends of the court.
All right,
Drop
we'll end with Isaiah, so I'll go first. I'm gonna give love to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Tyrese Halliburton made his way to Iowa State. Then he got drafted by Sacramento. Then he got right. Did he get right there? Did he get traded right to
Trade, yeah.
to the Pacers?
He got traded
And
for Sabonis.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
bonus, and then kind of make happen. And then he's in Game 7, looking like second coming Reggie on him. And he wore the tribute Reggie shirt to the post press conference. But I think he must have been talking to Jadakiss up there. I think that was Jadakiss and them on the sideline every time he hit something. Young man leading his team. There's a lot of difficult times happening up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, with UW Oshkosh and in some of the school systems. A lot in that community, but he's a bright star. He's the one that tells them, hey, you can still make things happen over here. And to have a young man, people are like, where are you from? Oshkosh? both Carl. Carl used to work for State. He traveled up in there. He understands what
Yeah,
he's
I
doing.
was up in Oshkosh.
Yeah.
Oshkosh, I got love for Oshkosh, but
That's
yeah,
a
this
long
fella
road.
right now, one man's balling. He
It's a
balling.
long road. It's a long road.
But and one thing too about the problem with Wisconsin basketball,
Yeah.
how you let that brother out of Wisconsin go
Out
now?
of Wisconsin.
That's
Out
a
of Wisconsin.
disgrace. That's a disgrace.
I gotta throw love to that young man, and he's not scared. He runs to the smoke. He runs to. So I want to say this. Everybody talk about this Midwest nice. I keep giving you examples of this. Tyrese runs to the smoke. Draymond runs to the smoke. Zeke ran to the smoke. Magic ran to the smoke. Y'all keep doing it if you want to. You keep saying if you want to, but this is one more example. We run to it. There's a reason why we doing series about stuff that happened in the Midwest. We run to that. So there's another young man doing his thing, man. I just gotta give him his flowers. I love it. I love watching it, and I love that. He came from just up the road. All right, to my man Isaiah to wrap it up, our brother.
All right, we're gonna pivot a little bit from basketball. We're gonna get back to the boxing. Boxing here in Metro Detroit. I gotta give my flowers to the 2024 National Golden Gloves champion Jair Thompson, fighting out in Metro Detroit. He's 19 years old, and he won in the 156 pounds division. At the last year's nationals, he was second place, and he told me before the event, he said, "This is my one. I'm coming for gold this time," and that's exactly what he did. He had a really good run throughout, and people don't understand how hard it is to compete in those tournaments, fighting day to day. He fought on through. He has showed a well-rounded boxing skill set. He can switch stances. He can shoot combinations from on the front foot and the back foot, can counter. Good jab, good movement. So I think you're definitely gonna be hearing about this brother in some years. So my shout out, my flowers goes out to Jair Thompson out of Metro Detroit.
Well, brother, we always good to have you. We have you back more. I know you're doing your thing out there. It's good to have two brothers like that doing it in Michigan. We got Darnell over there. We got Isaiah doing it. Yeah, Darnell coach it. It's good to see y'all brothers bring it up. We live through y'all, vicariously through y'all, and watching y'all doing it. So we appreciate it, brothers. And keep the capital safe over there. I know you got people over there. You used to run them halls over there, Carl. So
we were back in the halls. Back in the halls. We were Rayburn tonight, bro.
Another legislative post.
Man.
We don't need you to do this RSG thing. We don't need to talk to the legislative post. Okay. Take care of it over there. But for everybody, until next time, thank you for joining us. Please check us out again on realsportsguys.com and Real Sports Guys on all platforms. We'll see you on the other side.
Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got you? Yeah. R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother.